In a split second, I know that my life is over. Then it hits. Everything goes black.
Just tell me what happened. Big avalanche.
Welcome back to GMA3. That was renowned photographer and mountaineer Cory Richards surviving a harrowing avalanche after reaching a history-making summit.
Yeah, Cory is an advocate for mental health and outdoor athletes, and he's here with us today to talk more about his new book, Bipolar, a complement to his memoir, The Color of Everything. Please welcome Cory Richards to the studio.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you, buddy. Yes. So the work that you're doing is so important. This all started for you as a preteen dealing with mental health issues.
Yeah.
How did we get to climbing?
Well, I was born into an outdoor family, so I started climbing when I was 5. I started skiing when I was 2. And then by virtue of family dynamics, I ended up in psychiatric hospitals and diagnosed with bipolar 2 when I was 14.
You named this book Bipolar. It's a compilation of photos. Why did you choose this title?
Well, I didn't want to organize it in the way that photo books generally are, which is chronological or geographical. And I realized that through my career, I'd shot from the Arctic to Antarctica. And that could mirror in some ways and amplify this message of mental health by calling it bipolar. So, you know, it's a play on words. And then it's organized into emotional polarities.
I have to commend you on your work and reducing the stigma of a diagnosis such as this. It helps so many more people. I've read that you retired in 2021 after a bipolar episode while you were on an expedition in Pakistan. Can you help us understand how tough that decision must have been?
Well, I mean, I had identified with photography and climbing for so long, right? And I think there was an internal knowing that was sort of telling me, this is expired. And because of that and that internal stress, that disconnect with living in my integrity, I think that precipitated a bipolar episode that ultimately led me to walk away. But because those identities were so strong, it was sort of like, well, now, if I'm not a climber, if I'm not a photographer, who am I? You know, and just discovering that I am was sort of the journey, and being is enough.
So what do you say to those who deal with the shame, who live with the shame of living with bipolar?
Well, this is all about breaking the story of broken. And obviously we can celebrate this when we manage it. It can be our greatest asset. It can be our greatest strength. And so stepping out of the narrative of something's wrong with me and into this narrative of this is very powerful. And if I really dig into it, I can leverage it to my benefit and the benefit of the world by creating whatever I want to create, you know?
You know, with so many people that are trying to get a diagnosis for bipolar, that in itself is kind of hard to come by.
Yeah.
What advice do you give to people trying to navigate that healthcare system to get the healing and the help that they need?
Keep going. I mean, that's really it. You know, when we talk about privilege, I always say that privilege is access to resources and care. And that absolutely needs to be addressed, but we also have to understand that mental health and neurodivergence is indiscriminate. And so when it's hard, when it's difficult, it's just keep going. That you will find help if you're committed to that process, you know, and it's, I ache for that. I ache for that journey, and I want people who need the help to get it. And hopefully this is part of that.
You're helping so many people with your story.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah.
Cory, thank you for being here today. And if you would like to pre-order Cory's book, you can scan the QR code. It's right there at the bottom of your screen.